Well, it's been interesting. It's been interesting for us. I mean, certainly we saw this early on in some of the process with my dad, and it's interestingly been true even through this process where we have seen the temporal things of this world are frustrating and are debilitating and are hold us down, but like recently my mom and I were sitting here watching a movie with my dad. We watched that David that just came out from Angel Studios. It's got the whole cartoon of David, and it was fascinating because we weren't sure if he was tracking, but it gets to the. Have you seen that movie? It's a really great movie, and at the end, kind of near the end, they get to this part where David is going to sort of rescue the families from the Amalekites, and he comes over the hill, and he's sort of singing, and that's kind of a thing that they sort of work through, that David sings wherever he goes, and it's real dark, and they're taking these families, and he's like, and they're like, David, and he's like, I'm not afraid, we should not be afraid. We know the king, and they smack him down to the ground, and they drag him over, and they string him up on these ropes, and slowly but surely in the group of the families, a woman stands up and says, I'm not afraid. What is it again?
I will not be afraid.
I will not be afraid. And they smack her down to the ground and yank her away, and then this little child stands up. I will not be afraid. Smack that child down to the ground, and all of a sudden it of course starts to go one by one. People pop up. I will not be afraid anymore, and all of a sudden out of nowhere he goes, I will not be afraid.
Oh,
that chills.
And we were like, holy smokes.
oh,
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He was
And so we've been
He
doing.
said it right after.
When was this? How
That was
long ago?
about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, we
Oh,
could go
wow.
Saturday, or was it Saturday?
Yeah, we could go Saturday. That's right. So it's been interesting because we've been doing these worship circles, and a couple times now we've seen him singing the songs with us, and that just tracks all the way along. When we first saw, when the whole brain injury happened, it was 6-8 months he had been in all the hospital stuff, and then he transferred over to the Grand Valley Health Center. Mom would always wheel him down to see the Hour of Power with
Schuler.
Schuler, yeah.
Absolutely.
Schuler. And so all of a sudden we were sitting there watching. He has not said a thing in months, I think. I don't think he had said.
He might have started after about 6 months, but it was slow and coming.
Slow and very, very like delayed, or she would, if some of you remember, she would force his mouth down to get him to talk. And there's just all kinds of things. All of a sudden we're sitting there, Schuler starts saying this verse, and he starts speaking the verse with Schuler, and we were like, holy smokes. So I shared that story a ton with people, because I'm like, it's like proof to our family that the things of God break through the temporal things of this world, and they are still true, right? Like it cuts through all of the difficulties that we have in this world. And
Let me tell him the other thing he said. The first thing I remember he said, because they just tried he was there for 7 months, and they hadn't spoken in 6 months, and they were getting frustrated trying and tying floss around a lifesaver and running around his mouth. You probably know that technique, Mary. It wasn't doing anything. Finally they said, it's okay with you, because I'd try to sit in on all the session. We're going to try something kind of drastic. We're taking a swimmer's clip, we're going to put it on his nose, because he's used to breathing out of his nose because of the trach so long.
okay.
Just didn't need to breathe out of his mouth. So they put it on, and they said, what's your wife's name? And he goes, Judy! And we were on our way. So then he said, we're sitting there alone, I just go sit and we watch people or do whatever, and he said, I saw Jesus. And I said, you did? And he said, yeah. And I told him, I don't want to go yet, I want to see grandkids. And he said to me, it's not your time.
Oh,
Wow.
And I've said over the years, who am I to say he didn't see Jesus?
that's right. You are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What year was that, when this all started? I
It
forget.
started in 92 when we found it,
92.
and then in 93 it was when the bleed happened,
Yeah.
yeah, after a
A
lot of
vein hemorrhage,
procedures.
and when they told us he was probably gonna die in 48 hours.
Cause I love to tell the story too of when, he was at the University of Virginia Hospital. The first embolization session was to be 2 days, they were doing radiation through onto a big screen, putting 2.5 feet of tubing up into his brain to shoot silicone beads to try to get it into cleavage of 2 parts, to then do radiation, gamma knife therapy. First day went great, second day, he got back to his bed and all of a sudden, the left side just started going away, paralyzed. And they were like, well, he didn't stroke, we don't know what went on, but we're gonna send you back home. Oh, great, in an airplane,
Yeah.
half your body working.
Oh,
And
yeah.
went to the old Metro Hospital rehab. And in that week there, they fitted him with a full leg brace and he was starting to get up on his feet again and started to move. And they said, just keep watching for his toes to wiggle. And so every morning I'd help get him dressed. I'd say, can you wiggle your toes? Pretty soon, one day, sure enough, a little flicker and you go, holy smokes.
Yeah.
You know, and then little by little, that brace was taken off because the feeling was coming back. Well, before we left the hospital, he called them the herd, it was a teaching hospital. The residents and interns would come around, the teaching doctor would say, this is Jim Warmington, this is what happened to him, he's going home, he's gonna, hopefully come back. He goes, oh, I'll be back, I know the great healer. And they said,
Oh.
well, we hope you are.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, so now fast forward, he gets home, the full leg brace, he starts to stabilize, and they say, okay, come on down again, and we'll do that radiation, and hopefully all these veins that are like a bundle of ball of worms will shrivel like disintegrated rubber bands, that's the goal. So we go back down, the herd comes in again that day, and he goes, this is Jim Warmington, he went home, and he said, now his leg is working. Jim, show him how that left leg is working. And he kicked out of that bed just like this, and the head doctor goes, Jesus Christ. And Jim said, you're exactly right.
Great.
And they left, they got real quiet. They left the room, Heather was with us, she rode down with us, and she said, Dad, you nailed it.